just the video I was looking for to enforce my Boruto propaganda. This is just more Boruto propaganda for me. I already know, because in the time skip, Boruto's whooping Kawaki's ass. It's like, it's no competition. If we was to go back into part 1, you could probably find a case for Kawaki beating Boruto. But as of now, and if you guys didn't watch my Boruto power scaling video, make sure you guys go watch that right now. Cause I ain't gonna lie, if you gonna see that video, you're gonna realize Boruto and Kawaki is not close anymore. But this video is 21 minutes, so I'm not even gonna waste no time. We just gonna hop straight into this. But I'm guessing this is Boruto versus Kawaki throughout the whole series. I'm really just interested in the time skip because in part 1, they was a little bit more balanced when it came to karma. But base versus base, I feel like Boruto is going to take that every single time.
Shadow Clone Jutsu. Now this jutsu might seem basic at first because it kinda is, but it's also very useful.
It's only basic if you just can't spam a bunch of them, like thousands of them like Naruto. I understand why they didn't make Boruto just able to spam thousands of shadow clones like Naruto. He probably could in the time skip, but if we're being for real, damn, I don't even, like, as a Naruto fan, bro, it hurts me to see Boruto just be better at Naruto in every single thing. Like, let Naruto have the shadow clones, bro. Let my boy have the shadow clones. Yo, Boruto, you got the Rasengan. We get that. You getting the Rasengan Uzuhiko, you got the high compression Rasengan, you got the wind style Rasengan, you got the Rasendan, come on, bro, let my man Naruto have something, bro. You don't need it all. Create your own thing. You know, stay with the 5 shadow clones. That's cool, bro. Let my man have some.
And difficult to maintain if you choose to use more than one. Boruto, on the other hand, was able to use up to 4 shadow clones at a very young age, and has since learned to make up to 12 clones at the same time, per the anime continuity. This feat is actually pretty insane for a child his age, since a multi-shadow clone jutsu evenly distributes your chakra to every clone, which can lead to the death of the user if they don't have the chakra to maintain such a process. The good thing is that the chakra given to the clone is...
But do y'all think Boruto should be able to just spam shadow clones even though he does not have a tailed beast? I mean, he is a Uzumaki, so he does have large chakra reserves. Or do you guys feel like there's no reason for Boruto to spam shadow clones even though it would be OP? I just feel like Boruto having Sasuke's fighting traits over Naruto's just fits his character a little bit better. But it also doesn't fit Kawaki's character just to spam shadow clones as well. I feel like that's something just exclusively from Naruto just because he's been doing it since day 1.
Return to the user upon the clone being destroyed. So your chakra isn't completely lost unless it's absorbed by the opponent.
He should learn Sage Mode though, I ain't gonna cap. Hey, if Naruto was for real, if he was a for real father, bro, Boruto would know how to do Sage Mode. Sage Mode on top of Karma, because we know it stacks. We know Sage Mode stacks. So you can have Sage Mode on top of Karma. Yeah. I don't even want to say it. Y'all lucky Boruto does not have Sage Mode right now. I'm only gonna be pausing the video like 5 more times. 5 more times for sure.
You also have the added benefit of outnumbering your opponent in battle, which of course gives Boruto a strategic advantage. In addition to that, we have the Gentle Fist. This technique is pretty much a form of hand-to-hand combat used by the members of the Hyuga clan.
That man's a powerhouse.
Internal damage,
but he doesn't really use Gentle Fist anymore.
System, which in turn injures the organs which are closely intertwined with the area of the network that has been struck. This is done by the user injecting a certain amount of their chakra into the victim's body, which causes severe damage even with the slightest tap. Now this technique can be enhanced by employing the benefits of the Byakugan, which allows the user to see the...
Now, I don't know about the Gentle Fist, but if Boruto can use the Gentle Fist, he can get some real good use out of it, because if he has definitely mastered the Jogan, he can perceive the flow of chakra within any living thing. You know what that means, right? That boy could go ahead to start disrupting chakra networks from the get-go. One palm, that's all it takes. Hit a vital spot in the chakra network. Hit a vital spot and it's over for you. That will be overpowered for him. You know, Boruto has the tools to become one of the best, if not the best shinobi ever. It's all about if Kishimoto and Ikimoto executed properly. Because he has all this. The man has Gentle Fist. He could have got Sage Mode. He got Karma. He got the Jogan. It's crazy. They could just say, you know what, Boruto? We're just gonna have you able to spam 100,000 shadow clones like your father. No big deal. No big deal. You're already a Uzumaki, so you already have high chakra reserves, and your Otsutsuki on top of that. So that's even more. What's stopping him?
opponent's precise chakra points. Attacking these points increases the damage done to the opponent and can lead to them no longer being able to use chakra. Boruto has access to the most basic form of this technique since he doesn't naturally have a Byakugan, thus not being able to see the opponent's chakra points. However, this obviously depends on the version of Boruto we're using, since Boruto has access to Momoshiki's Byakugan in his Karma state and is confirmed to be able to see chakra points using his Jogan. Next in line we have the...
Definitely need to see Boruto use more Gentle Fist or dive deeper into Gentle Fist fighting style with the time skip. But if we're being for real, that probably doesn't fit his fighting style now because he probably just gonna keep fighting with the sword. We probably won't even see no hand-to-hand combat coming from Boruto. It's just all gonna be Kenjutsu from now on.
The Rasengan, which in its simplest form is just a spinning ball of chakra. However, the spinning or rotation adds to the insane power level of the technique, confirmed to be superior to Sasuke's Chidori that was accidentally created by Kakashi after failing to perform the Rasengan itself. However, unlike Kakashi, not only was Boruto able to perform the technique within a few days of training.
Okay, that was my third pause. Just hear me out. Don't even get mad, bro, because I'm not gonna be pausing all that much. This is probably like the last time. But when it comes to Boruto and the Chidori, the thing about it, and I said that he could only use it when the Jogan is active, but I said he cannot activate the Jogan by will. It comes with a need. But the thing is, the Jogan does have qualities of the Sharingan. The Jogan may help him see his opponent's movements better like the Sharingan does. Now, if it does support him going at top-notch speed, then he could probably learn how to do the Chidori. I already know Boruto is able to stream lightning through his sword, just like Sasuke, and he's probably able to amplify it for the surrounding area, like Chidori stream attack. And if he could do that, I feel like he wouldn't need the Chidori. The Rasengan is the more powerful jutsu out of the, and the writers not wanting to give Boruto every damn jutsu is understandable. So you guys have to realize that they just don't want him to be a damn powerhouse. Even though it's not bad writing, they probably just want to make it interesting.
He was also subconsciously able to add lightning release to the Rasengan. This change in chakra nature made it so that the Rasengan appeared invisible.
And he has to vanish in Rasengan. I forgot
Both
that.
has become so
yeah, bro, you got the Rasengan.
The ability
you got that.
he's
I
now
can't lie.
able to make the Rasengan invisible at the point of creation instead of after the jutsu has been formed, as seen in his battle versus Boro in the anime. So not only is his normal Rasengan stronger due to it being infused with lightning release, it also makes it undetectable by opponents such as Fused Momoshiki, who possess 2 golden Byakugans and multiple Renegans. So it's highly likely that Kawaki
trying to force it
won't be able
away.
to perceive it using Ishiki's dojutsu. With that being said, Boruto is also shown to be able to perform the Wind Star Rasengan in the anime continuity. This Rasengan
like
is
a mini
power
Rasen
output to a
Shuriken.
regular Rasengan.
We need to
and
see
also
more of this
comes
though.
with the added benefit of attacking the opponent at a cellular level, thus bypassing their natural durability. Now, while
Crazy.
Boruto does have access to this technique in the anime, he hasn't fully mastered it, but it is still available to him, so we have to add it to the list. Now then we have Boruto's high compression Rasengan, which is pretty much a regular Rasengan that's condensed and compressed to its limit.
This is my favorite one right here, to be honest.
With little resistance,
This is my favorite
knock them
Rasengan
out
right
if
here.
they possess a powerful defense. So Boruto has multiple variants of the Rasengan that serve different functions. We also have the lower level jutsu such as the summoning technique, which was Nue at one point, but
I know a lot of you guys who read the Boruto manga is not going to remember this. I'm pretty much talking for the guys who watched the anime. Y'all remember Garaga? And there was so much hype around Garaga that, oh, he's going to be Boruto's new summon. And then we have not seen him since that arc. Man, what happened to bro? I feel like Boruto definitely needs a summon if they're still even needed in the verse, you know? I feel like they could be useful in some situations. Maybe not fighting as much anymore. Yeah, and he's a snake too. Sasuke had his snake summon. What was his name? Oda or something like that. Hey, I feel like it would have been cool, you know? Boruto has a snake. Sasuke has a snake. Hey, I'm not the only one, am I right? If y'all with me in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. He needs Garaga back some way, somehow.
But that's no longer the case for some reason. He also had access to a snake called Garaga at one point, but it's kinda irrelevant since the video is about current Boruto versus current
yeah,
Kawaki.
bro, he can spit the venom and something like that.
I know someone was gonna go into the comments
That'd
saying
be
what
tough.
about summoning jutsu, so I just wanted to address them from here. Now, in addition to that, Boruto has access to a sealing jutsu that can
And by the way, the stronger you are, the stronger your summon is. You know, y'all could probably link attacks and all that. Boruto's pretty strong, so that'll make Garaga stronger too.
Movements, along with high-level Kenjutsu, which was seen as recently as Chapter 2 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. Then we have the regular techniques such as Lightning Release, Thunderclap Arrow, Wind Release, Gale Palm, and Water Release, Water Bullet Jutsu. Now those are all the abilities we know
he does have Water Release, I forgot.
Capable of using
underrated as hell
at this point in the story.
Bro has Water Release and Lightning Release. Oh man.
Which allows him to see chakra pathways, travel across dimensions, see dimensional rifts, and even see across dimensions while hearing what the person is saying on the other side. However, we have no clue whether Boruto has the Jogan at this point in time, but we're gonna make a case for Jogan as well in a hypothetical match.
He does. Already made a video on that. He does.
Dog territory, which would be Momoshiki's Karma Seal.
All right, let's
now,
get
this
into
one is very special since in addition to providing Boruto with increased strength, speed, durability, and an insane healing factor, it also provides him with additional abilities, such as the ability to absorb all chakra-based attacks and the ability to use space-time ninjutsu. There's also this new level to using his Karma Seal
of all 5 chakra natures as well
as his true essence form. This of course increases every single attribute provided by the first stage of the seal, which is mostly due to Boruto tapping into the battle experience of Momoshiki per Code's statement.
hold on. Hey yo, I definitely made a poll on my channel. I said who would win? Boruto. No, I said this was versus Ten Tails Madara. The other one was Boruto in the Kawaki arc when he first got the Karma Seal versus Sage Mode Naruto from the Pain fight. I said who would win? I feel like y'all are taking it too deep. Just think of it as face value. I know if Boruto goes into V2, he washes Naruto, obviously. But for the fight, I was just suggesting, okay, what if Boruto could only do this? Mind you, at that point in the time, he really couldn't use the Karma's power effectively. He couldn't utilize all of his power. Naruto had much better feats at that point, so I thought it was a good matchup. Y'all was going into like, yo, any version of Boruto just smashes Naruto, like it's easy like that. I'm not gonna get into that, but I just thought that was funny because I said it's not a stomp, honestly. It's closer than you guys realize. Because at this time, Boruto really couldn't, he didn't really know how to use the Karma. But I said this Boruto, this version of Boruto right here, versus Ten Tails Madara. And you guys just said Boruto slaps. You know, he able to use Momoshiki's power, but he's still able to be in control. And at that point, I felt like the fight was closer because it's not like Momoshiki's taking over his body. Of course, if we had Borushiki right here, it's not a competition, you know? But I felt like it was more of a competition because Boruto, at this point, it was still a control. Madara has much more experience. Madara has a lot of hacks he can use, which is Limbo. But I feel like with the Jogan, he'll be able to see Limbo easily. But this isn't the Jogan right here. This ain't the Jogan. So that's where it gets kind of interesting. We already know full power Boruto is, he's washing Madara pretty easily. But I just thought if you guys just stay within this, you know, frame and think about the fight, it'll get interesting. I'm gonna post more on the channel, by the way, don't worry about that. But just from now on, just look at it as face value. Don't go too deep into it.
Which is mostly due to Boruto tapping into the battle experience of Momoshiki per Code's statements. The form also comes with the bonus of having Momoshiki's Otsutsuki Byakugan. This will of course increase Boruto's lethality when it comes to using the Gentle Fist, as I mentioned before. In addition to that, we also have Boruto's Otsutsukified form, dubbed as Borushiki from fans. This is still Boruto using Karma Seal's power, but for the most part, Momoshiki is in control of his movements, not Boruto.
Yeah, so he moves different, if it's this versus any character in Naruto, Borushiki wins.
When compared to Boruto using the first 2 stages of the Karma Seal. Now that will be all for Boruto's technique, so let's get into Kawaki. This part will be fairly quick since Kawaki's back isn't...
Y'all don't want to get into the time skip, man. Get into the time skip. I understand he's probably going to do after this. Let me see. But base versus base, Boruto should win that. Karma versus Karma. Kawaki got that, surprisingly. But yeah.
That deep. He's able to use the Shadow Clone Jutsu as seen in the battle versus Ishiki, but he himself stated that he could barely create one clone, so it isn't really reliable.
Yeah, it's harder to scale Kawaki. He doesn't have as many feats
after a 3-year time skip. In addition to that, he's able to use the Fireball Jutsu and possesses the ability to fly. This might be the same for Boruto since they first detected his chakra over the village in chapter 1 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, however that remains to be seen. One major difference between Boruto and Kawaki is that Boruto's entire body is made up of cybernetics, which is why Kawaki's body itself is considered to be a scientific ninja tool. This allows him to transform his body into weapons and produce a chakra blast from his palm. There is a
shit, when Kawaki didn't have the karma, boy was he struggling. That boy thought that little hand sword shit was about to do something. He was spamming that joint. He needed karma. And that's why I think I'm not gonna call him a fraud. I'm not gonna call him karma made. Nah, I'm gonna call him karma made. He's definitely karma made. Because versus Code, bro, we know what happened. He wasn't doing nothing without karma. Albeit, Boruto's not doing anything to Code without karma either. But at least, Boruto's ninja skills are more refined and based. He could probably utilize his chakra natures better than Kawaki can, and his jutsus are more potent. Boruto definitely has some great feats without his karma. Kawaki does not. So at the same time, it's tough. It's tough to scale. But base for base, Boruto slams. I think I might even skip that part. There's no point watching it, because no matter what he says, I'm still gonna think Boruto slams either way.
However, a slight downside, which is that his body tends to overheat if he overexerts himself, as seen in the Vessel arc when they first discovered him. The funny thing is that the story seems to have forgotten about that side effect, since he hasn't experienced it since that point in the story, even though he's arguably using greater power through his Karma Seal at this point in time. Speaking of the Karma Seal, Kawaki possesses the Karma Seal of Ishiki Otsutsuki, which pretty much provides him with the same abilities as Boruto's Karma, which would be the ability to absorb chakra-based attacks and perform space-time ninjutsu. Now, unlike Boruto, Kawaki never used his true essence form per se, but he does have access to the full Otsutsukified state, which would be equivalent to Boruto using his...
That's one thing I'll say, bro. Y'all lucky Kawaki never went into true essence mode. With Ishiki? Oh, yeah. Kawaki's true essence would be unstoppable. Now, Boruto's was unstoppable as well, but Kawaki's, it would have been insane. It would have been something you did not want to see. I'm not underrating Kawaki's karma power, because we know his karma power is second to none. We know it. He's strong, bro. He's strong. But when it just comes to him not having the karma, I just feel like his skills as a shinobi, or I don't even want to consider him a shinobi. That would be wrong for me to say. I'm gonna just say his skills are kind of underwhelming without the use of the karma.
Form minus the Otsutsuki possession. So you could make the argument that Kawaki has the ability to draw on the battle experience of Ishiki to make himself stronger while he's in this form as well. Not only that, similar to how Boruto gained access to Momoshiki's Byakugan, Kawaki also gained access to Ishiki's Dojutsu and all of his abilities. The first one being Sukinai Kona, which allows the user to shrink himself and non-living things to a very small size, along with Daikokuten, which allows him to summon cubes or any other object from a dimension where time doesn't flow. In addition to that, he's also able to store people within that dimension as well, which immediately freezes them in time. He also has the ability to spam rods that can
free my man Naruto.
Chakra. So while Kawaki's back isn't as big as Boruto's, he does have a few quality abilities.
And mind you, these rods are light speeds. Yeah, they're pretty damn fast. But when it comes to people like Borishiki right here, he'll be able to react to it. Who else is able to react to it? Baryon Mode Naruto, easily able to react to it. So they're useful, but only against certain people. Well, 95% of people. Even any dojutsu couldn't really keep up with him. And Sasuke got two of them. He got the Rinnegan and the Sharingan. If Sasuke can't keep up with it with his dojutsu, nobody would be able to.
Abilities under his belt. Now, since we know what abilities these characters are able to wield, let's get into how strong these characters are.
This scene was so wholesome though. That fight was like, it came out of nowhere. That fight was funny as hell.
Relative. This was showed in chapter 27
they
where
were
both able to
what did he just say?
Relative one another. Now, when it comes to them in their base forms, they're relatively well relative. This was showed in chapter 27.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I can't say. I cannot say. This is just hand-to-hand combat. You know, they're not utilizing any ninjutsu whatsoever. If Boruto really wanted to get down into it, he would have been able to crush Kawaki right here. It was just a backyard squabble. Nothing too crazy.
Where they were both able to block and react to each other's attacks pretty easily. This was still the case even 31 chapters later in chapter 58, where they decided to have a 1v1 tussle to decide whose training method they would proceed with. Suffice to say that they were both giving it their all but still maintained relativity, even though Kawaki seemingly had the upper hand at one point in the fight before Boruto activated his Karma Seal, which doesn't count since Boruto activated his Karma Seal, thus no longer being in base. Now there is an outlier feat in chapter 78 where Boruto was able to react to Karma Kawaki's cubes summoned from his Daikokuten dimension. The reason why it's an outlier is because we have no idea how fast Kawaki's cubes are, since
those are
Naruto
crazy.
was able to move faster
Those are crazy.
than it was able to fall. Along with the fact that base Boruto
Those are crazy
reacted to
overpowered.
the cube's falling speed.
Couldn't
in
even
battle
break you with a
versus
high
Shiki,
compression
which either
Rasengan.
means that the
They're
cubes aren't
unbreakable.
that fast, or you're able to change the speed in which they fall. That would explain why they seem to be so fast to pre-nerf Naruto and Sasuke, but Boruto was able to react to them twice in his base form. Then you also have the fact that base Boruto was also able to briefly react to a supposed bloodlusted Kawaki in chapter 78 as well, and this was Kawaki using his Karma Seal. So either Kawaki is,
like I said, don't underrate Boruto in his base. The fight against Aoi exposed that. Boruto is pretty damn strong in his base. Now, I'm not saying Kawaki just can't fight in his base at all, because he can. His hand-to-hand combat is pretty good. But I'm just saying, when it comes to base, Boruto has more tools to utilize. He definitely has more feats. If it just came down to base versus base, Boruto would win a lot more of these fights, or a lot more of these scaling battles. Both pretty strong. But as we know, Kawaki without his karma, it's just that he's not able to do the things that Boruto is able to do when it comes to his base. But his karma, that boy is nice. I'm not gonna get.
Isn't truly going all out, or base Boruto has gotten that strong, possibly due to him being 100% pure Tsutsuki. Now, narratively speaking, it makes way more sense that Kawaki just isn't going all out.
So he's saying Boruto being 100% Otsutsuki is giving him a boost in his base. And at that point, he's still crushing Kawaki either way. I still had him beating Kawaki in base, and I have him beating Kawaki after. But when it comes to a Boruto and Kawaki scaling, it's kind of dumb to scale their base, because if they fight, they'll never be fighting in base. Kawaki just going to use his karma. We all know that. But when it comes to karma versus karma, I really haven't seen enough of Boruto using his karma in the time skip to tell which one is stronger. But I can only assume base form Boruto stomps Kawaki right now. He stomps him, and it's not fair. It's not fair. Boruto in base right now in the time skip takes Kawaki, right? He buzzes his back out. He throws him away, and he spits on him. That's how bad it is. And you're not going to tell me otherwise. There's too much feats that we have seen from Boruto that we just haven't seen from Kawaki in 2 chapters. It's not glazing, it's facts. That's what I love to say. It's not glazing if it's facts.
Since if he was, he would have gone into his most powerful state, which we're going to call his Kawashiki state going forward. This is also supported by the fact that Kawaki still had the upper hand in battle after Boruto activated his Karma Seal. So Kawaki having killing intent doesn't necessarily mean that he's going all out, especially if he doesn't think that he needs to go full power in order to complete his task. All in all, these characters appear to be relative for the most part if we're just comparing them base to base. Now, before we get into the very juicy part of this video, which would be karma versus karma, I want to bring your attention to something very alarming, which is the fact that 93% of you guys are not subscribed.
I hate that. I hate that. I hate that too. I know. Hey, what's up with this, bruh? What's up with this? Y'all watching right now. There's no way y'all are watching up to here and not subscribe, bro. Hey. I just learned to accept this right now, because most channels are gonna have more people watching their videos that are not subscribed than subscribed anyway. But this is insane. This is insane though. Hey, mine is similar as well. Y'all gotta fix that.
Otsutsuki, while Kawaki possesses the Karma Seal of his Shiki Otsutsuki. What this means is that since they are drawing on the power from different entities, they must also possess different levels of power. So to get to a proper understanding of the power boost provided by karma, we need to first understand the power level of the entity within that karma. Now, just to establish a baseline, let's agree that Boruto's Karma Seal has the power of fused Momoshiki, which would be the version of Momoshiki after he consumed the Kinshiki Otsutsuki. So that would be where Boruto's Naruto's karmic power stems from. Now, in order to scale this version of Momoshiki properly, we have to use his feats versus 6-path
Naruto was
Naruto,
boxing that
then
nigga
we
up.
later
He was
compare that to
boxing him
Naruto's
up.
fight versus Ishiki. So, firstly, you need to understand that the Naruto who fought fused Momoshiki was nowhere near full power himself. We have to remember that even before the fight began in Momoshiki's dimension,
Yeah, they was
Naruto
sucking
used
him
up
up.
a lot of his and Kurama's chakra to contain the attack.
Naruto had to reflect that attack, and they took him to the other dimension and started sucking him up. Pause. But I meant the chakra. I meant the chakra, not. Okay, cut that out. I gotta cut that out. They was sucking the chakra out of his stomach. You know, they was sucking the chakra out. So he wasn't full power, but he definitely had more than enough to finish Momoshiki, even with the help of Sasuke, more than enough.
At the tuning exam,
That man is a tank. Endless chakra. Endless.
Yes, in 6-path Sage mode, he's using both his and Kurama's chakra, even in the Avatar state. This was confirmed back in the War arc after Naruto first awakened the KCM2. So after expelling that much chakra to contain the blast he could have easily countered as stated by Sasuke himself, Naruto was knocked unconscious. Momoshiki then proceeded to absorb Kurama's chakra for hours after the battle ended,
hours.
since Naruto was resisting.
Damn.
This added to Naruto's fatigue, since we know that extracting the tail
No
of these
other
chakra
shinobi
can
could have
lead to
lasted.
the user's death,
No
since
other.
it reduces their life force. This was made very clear since Naruto could barely stand and was barely conscious when Sasuke saved him. We also have to note that Momo absorbed over 50% of Kurama's remaining chakra
Over
after they tanked the
50%?
attack at the stadium, which means that Naruto,
And he
who
was
fought
still
Mizumoshiki,
getting
was
boxed up.
heavily fatigued and had less than 50% of Kurama's chakra. Yes, not 50%, less than 50%. Yet he was able to go toe-to-toe with Momoshiki in the anime and won their brief
Boxing him
1v1
up.
tussle, while Momoshiki got absolutely demolished in the manga
I love
version
that fight.
of the fight. Yes, Momoshiki did slam the Kurama avatar in the manga and anime continuity, but that was a less than 50% Kurama, so that means nothing to a hypothetical full power Naruto. Naruto didn't even bother using Boy Release to amp his physical strength, and fused Momoshiki died to a giant Rasengan given to Boruto by a weakened fatigued base Naruto.
Now, I don't like to be nitpicky, but we know what an Odama Rasengan is. A giant Rasengan. And it's not that. I remember early in Shippuden, right? I would see leaks online about a massive Rasengan. Jiraiya being able to use the massive Rasengan. And that was definitely different from the giant Rasengan. I was like, when is Naruto gonna learn how to do that? Like, that's a big ass ball right there. It's a massive Rasengan, bro. It's not a giant Rasengan. You gotta get your terminology correct. You know, am I just dick eating at this point? I feel like I am. I'm gonna just leave it alone. You got it, bro. You got it. But let's say massive, because that's what is massive. It's not giant, it's massive. We're gonna call that a massive Rasengan. He used it versus Delta. You could just spam massive Rasengans over and over. That's overpowered.
Momoshiki died
Even
to a
one
giant
could just
Rasengan given to
obliterate
Boruto
you.
by a weakened
And he could
fatigued
spam it?
base Naruto. Now you could make the argument that
Massive.
fused Momoshiki wasn't at full power since base Momoshiki spammed a lot of his chakra at the exams, and Kinshiki was also in a weakened state before they fused. So theoretically, Boruto would be able to attain higher level feats if he uses Momoshiki's power at full power. The only issue with the Momoshiki being weakened argument is that Momoshiki still got beaten even after healing his body using the chakra from the scientific ninja tool and consuming the chakra pills created using half of Kurama's remaining chakra. Now you could still argue that it didn't bring him back to
Got
full
washed.
power, but there's no way
He
to
got
really
beat.
prove
He
that.
get-
And
he
by the
got
way,
washed.
the character's not giving Momoshiki attacks for him to absorb and make himself stronger isn't the same as Momoshiki being nerfed or being weakened. He's just not able to leech off his opponent's power to get stronger than he naturally is. That would be like saying Naruto and Sasuke were weakened just because they didn't use most of their jutsus due to Momoshiki having the ability to absorb chakra. It just doesn't make any sense. I say all of this not to wank Naruto, but just to give a clear understanding when it comes to the difference in raw power between Ishiki and fused Momoshiki. This is shown by the fact that Jigen, who was just a vessel of Ishiki, had a way easier time beating Naruto and Sasuke absent of the nerf Naruto had versus Momoshiki, which would be him being fatigued and having less than 50% of Kurama's power.
And I hate to say it, but if Kawaki was 100% Otsutsuki, it would be trouble. Hey, even at 80%, bro, Kawaki is still damn strong in his karma mode, bro. And I would argue it's probably better than Boruto's. I would have to argue that. Not him just having the stronger Otsutsuki's karma mark, but him able to utilize the karma mark's abilities and the way it amps his strength. I would say it gives him the slight edge over Boruto's karma. But overall, who's stronger right now? I'ma have to still give that to Boruto, my dude.
Along with his own chakra being drained. Now you could argue that Naruto also wasn't full power versus Jigen, since he was also constantly absorbing his chakra using his rods. But the issue is that there's no way to really prove how much chakra Jigen absorbed from Naruto to even argue how much of an effect it would have on Naruto's physical capabilities. So there's no way to even argue that properly, nor is it consistent with the narrative. Jigen is just portrayed to be way stronger. Then we move over to Ishiki Otsutsuki, who is blatantly stated to be far superior to Jigen and his dying body. In fact, upon resurrecting using Jigen's body, it's stated that Ishiki was brimming with power, which means to be full of something to the point of overflowing. So you could argue that Ishiki was at full power but still within a dying body with a declining life force. Even so, he was able to completely demolish both Naruto and Sasuke at their peaks, even prior to absorbing their chakra using his rods.
Didn't even get one hit
back and forth or any show of relativity as it was with Fused Momoshiki. That just simply means that Ishiki is just that much stronger than Fused Momoshiki, thus being the far superior Otsutsuki. This also means that Kawaki's Karma Seal should provide him with a greater boost than what Boruto gains from Momoshiki. However, the issue here is that while the logic tracks on paper, it doesn't really translate to actual feats. If you go back to chapter 65, we see that Borushiki was pretty much relative to Kawashiki, being able to dodge his rods, the spikes created by his body, and the cube summoned from the Daikokuten dimension. In addition to being able to
like I said, only 2 people is able to do that. Baryon, Naruto, and Boruto. That's literally it.
Physically keep up with Kawaki and react to all of his attacks. Not only that, Borushiki was able to land a decisive kick on Kawashiki and even cancelled out their attacks upon collision. So relativity is heavily implied in this fight, which likely means that Boruto is getting some extra power boost from somewhere other than Momoshiki, or Kawaki isn't drawing on the full power of Ishiki. The latter might be the case since Unlimited Code, who is stated to be greatly above Jigen but below the levels of Ishiki in power, is still narratively implied to be stronger than this version of Kawaki. The only way this makes sense is if Kawaki isn't drawn on the full power of Ishiki as yet, which is backed up by the fact that Amado thinks he just needs more time to get stronger. Even then, it's also stated that Kawaki is the greatest power in the village, which means that even though they're narratively shown to be relative, the narrative still has Kawaki slightly above. This brings me to Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, which has based Boruto stomping on Unlimited Code's face and dodging his attack. This might seem impressive to some, but it doesn't really hold much weight since most of Code's power that would put him above Jigen level is implied to have stemmed from his Karma Seal. So base Boruto dodging an attack from base Code doesn't put Boruto above Jigen level. Now what's more convincing is the fact that Boruto states that it would be easy to kill Code, which means that,
I did say originally Boruto landing onto Code and him being able to catch Code off guard was a great feat, because you gotta think about it. If Boruto was able to mask his chakra and move fast enough where he just could not react to him, then that's a speed feat in itself. Albeit it's not the greatest feat in the world, but I had to acknowledge it, bro. I had to acknowledge it. We know Boruto was able to be seen as soon as he landed on the Code, and I said he did that on purpose to give Sasuke the advantage. If you guys want to watch that video, go ahead and watch it, bro. The video's out right now.
Boruto is likely factoring in Code with his Karma Seal as well.
But this is a feat right here. This is the greatest feat,
to my knowledge.
Oh yeah, this is not even the greatest feat. What am I saying? The greatest feat is when he said, "Lead me to the 10 tails," because at that point, it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to try to seal the 10 tails? Do you want to try to destroy it? Like, what do you want to try to? If you want to destroy the 10 tails by yourself, Boruto, that's just godly. Because at the same time, it took all 5 great nations to be able to take down the 10 tails. So if you're saying you're able to subdue it or unalive it, that's a crazy feat. Y'all don't understand how crazy of a feat that is.
So if we take Boruto at his word, which might be cap, he should be able to be above Unlimited Code, thus greatly surpassing Jigen. You could also make the argument for him being Ishiki level, but there isn't much to support that.
No, I said he might be Ishiki level. I don't think he surpassed Ishiki level, but he's around there. Like, he's knocking on the door, like, hello, like, who's home, He might be a little bit below Ishiki or around it. That's why I stayed safe in the video. I stayed safe, because if I put him over Ishiki, I would have definitely had more controversial ideas and comments. But I stayed safe. We got to see a little bit more before I'm able to say this guy is stronger than Ishiki. A little bit more.
Now, when it comes to Kawaki, it's likely that he attained above Jigen levels of power as well after the 3-year time skip, but there's no way to really prove that. Aside from the fact that his dojutsu now has 8.
Now, he doesn't have crazy feats in the time skip. The only feat he really had was being able to just blow away the claw grime in one shot, but he had to activate karma for that. We see Boruto able to take on multiple amounts of claw grimes in base. So that's what I'm saying, like in base right now, Kawaki really doesn't hold a candle to Boruto. Now, critical thinking, I feel like he has that, but nobody cares about that type of power scaling. So I feel like Kawaki definitely has the brains. That is very important in a fight. That is very important. Being able to have critical thinking in a fight and able to make a decision is pretty important. And now I said maybe Boruto doesn't have this, or he does have this, but not at the same degree as like a likes of Sasuke or Kawaki. And that's very important in a fight. It's not all brawn, it is brains, surprisingly. But people aren't interested in all that. They just want to see you beat his ass. I understand it.
8 triangles instead of the 4 he had originally, which could indicate an increase in power. And it does make sense narratively since we're talking about the protagonist.
He was also overpowered by a claw grime.
Now let's just say hypothetically
that claw grime did have the
Rinnegan,
Rinnegan,
so that he can defeat Code, but also that the narrative will remain consistent with Boruto and Kawaki being relative. This likely means that it's going to come down to their unique abilities, which would be Boruto's new Rasengan or Kawaki's ability to shrink himself and store Boruto away in its Daikokuten dimension. Alternatively, the
not an easy fight. By any means, it's not an easy fight.
Provide a perception or speed
for either one
in the battle versus Momoshiki, but that solely depends on whether Boruto is above unlimited code absent of the Jogan. Then again, it appears that Boruto has already awakened the Jogan, which probably explains his confidence. All in all, Kawaki should be far stronger than Boruto on paper due to him having the karma seal of a far stronger Otsutsuki, but that was never the case when it comes to the actual feats, which again likely means that Kawaki is not drawing on the full power of his karma seal. If we assume that he's now able to access all of that power and is able to scale to Ishiki and above, he should now be above Boruto by quite a bit.
Yeah, like I said, it is fair to say this, with Kawaki's karma, he would be stronger than Boruto, but we really haven't seen anything to just say, you know what, Kawaki's just stomping Boruto. We need to see more of his karma abilities and what he has learned in the time skip. Compared to Boruto, we see a little bit more. So I guess it's safer, or it's more natural to assume that Boruto is stronger right now, but as the chapters go on, we will really see who's really stronger. But my money's on Boruto, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is all I'm gonna say. Kawaki's karma mode is not to be played with at all. That's where he gets probably like 85% of his power. And if he didn't have the karma, it will be going base for base. And at that point, I don't think the fight's close. But yeah, Kawaki with his karma could definitely give him the edge of a Boruto. It's that strong.
But that solely depends on what power-up they have decided to give Boruto, since it appears that he still scales relative to Kawaki per their brief tussle on the Okage monument in episode 1. So just to clarify, the conclusion is that Kawaki should be far stronger.
And I don't know, but this feels like another time skip. This does feel like a second time skip, because he does appear maybe a year or two older than he does in Two Blue Vortex, as well as Boruto. Maybe a year older, we don't know. This could be another slight time skip. So that can give them enough time to even get stronger than before. But it does look like he's slightly older and he's wearing different clothes, so.
Monument in episode 1. So just to clarify, the conclusion is that Kawaki should be far stronger, but he's just slightly above Boruto per the available feats. Now there are other reasons why you could say this is why Boruto is this strong, this is why he's comparable to Kawaki even though he shouldn't be. One would be Shibai cells, or maybe it's the combination of Hagoromo's and Hamura's chakra creating a stronger power within Boruto. There are multiple ways you could justify it, but I just wanted to stick to the facts in this video, what we know for certain. And what we know for certain is that Boruto has the power of Momoshiki. Now there is the Jogan in the anime continuity specifically, which I mentioned in this video, but it isn't really reliable since Boruto can't just deactivate and activate the Jogan whenever he feels like it, right? So that's why I stayed away from theories. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section, of course. Do you think this made sense? Do you think Kawaki is stronger than Boruto, physically speaking?
I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Based on the video, who's stronger right now, Boruto and Kawaki, and why? I'm not gonna lie, I cannot say Kawaki's stronger than Boruto. I just haven't seen enough from him. Once I've seen enough from him, and I can probably make an assumption, I will. But for right now, I gotta give it to Boruto, who showed me more feats. Not only after the time skip, but before the time skip as well. You know, he is the main character. Of course, we're gonna see more feats from him, but it's only natural to assume. Now, if we see Kawaki's karma appear and he's just going crazy, like he just pulls out something we have never seen before, then I might have to say at this point Kawaki is stronger. But for now, it's safe to assume that Boruto got it because his base powers is insane. You know, we haven't even seen his karma powers yet, and he's already looking like he can scale to the code without limiters. You know, it's crazy. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And until my next one, I'm out. Peace.